Hello. Welcome back to the Funk Treatise 5th edition and the readings from. Uh, I'm Sean Penalber. Welcome. Um, we're going to continue today with pages 121 through 130. Yes, 121 through 130. We've got Veronica Berger reading today. A little fun story that is kind of unfolding right now as we speak. Uh, so I hired all these people like last year in 2024 across various times of the year, uh, and um, this year, my birthday in April 25th, I put out a post asking people to kind of like, dip their toes into the funk treatise and tell me what they think and everything, or to just reach out and share a thought or something, anything. Um, just show me some love. And Veronica reached out uh, and got to talking about a little bit about like philosophy and some things that she was experiencing and everything. And I recommended a book to her. Um, I cannot remember the name of it, but it is by Donna Gorell or Gorel. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Um, nope, this is not it. Okay, I don't know where the list is. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, I think it's called Perfect Madness, if I had to recall correctly. This is such a great intro. Sorry for the downtime. Um, okay, but regardless, I suggested to Veronica this book because the things that she was telling me sounded a lot similar to what Donna experiences in this book. Yes, Perfect Madness by Donna Lee Gorell, from Awakening to Enlightenment. And this book is about Donna's experience having a Kundalini awakening and how people related to it and stuff and how they reacted and responded. And I remember hearing about this on a podcast. I cannot remember which one, unfortunately. But it definitely related uh, to a degree. I did not have anywhere near her experience of like a Kundalini awakening and stuff. Which is, if you know a little bit more about that, it's a pretty wild experience. Um, and so I recommended this to Veronica, um, and she reached out to me like a couple days ago. Um, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll put it on my list," And usually when you recommend a book, you take it with like a grain of salt, because people do their own things; they have their own schedules. But she reaches back out to me, and she says, "Hey, did your copy have a note written on the front page?" And I go and it's on my bookshelf, and I look and nope, no note. And she shows me a photo of the book that she got, and it is literally a note from the author. And the copy belonged to her stepmom, who she mentions in the book several times. Um, Now I know Donna Lee has since passed. Um, because I remember reading in the book she was thinking about writing like a sequel kind of thing. So I remember Googling and being like, oh, what happened to this lady? And so she has passed, and I'm assuming that her stepmother has passed as well. Just guessing from age. I don't know, maybe. But I thought and she ordered it on Amazon. So I don't know who sent it to her and everything. I don't know where it came from. But the coincidence of that, the synchronicity of that, and it reaching Veronica directly, pretty wild. Pretty wild. But I just want to share that before we get started. So, without further ado, this is going to be Veronica Berger reading pages 121 through 130. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Veronica, and I will be reading pages 121 to 130. This unexpected turn adds both humor and complexity to the story, transforming it from a simple account of being almost late into a more engaging and memorable tale. The power of knowledge lies in the ability to build upon information. adding layers of detail, context, and unexpected elements that make the story more interesting and meaningful. It demonstrates how the richness of a narrative evolves as more information is incorporated, turning a basic statement into a story with depth and impact. The effects of judgments and disagreements, misunderstandings, and the effect on social relationship. Judgments, disagreements, and misunderstandings can significantly impact social relationships, often influencing the dynamics and overall well-being of individuals involved. Here are some of the effects. Number 1, strained relationships. Judgments, disagreements, and misunderstandings can create tension and strain in relationships. When people feel judged or misunderstood, it can lead to a breakdown in communication and emotional distance. Number 2, communication breakdown. Disagreements and misunderstandings can result in the breakdown of effective communication. If parties involved are unable to express themselves or understand each other's perspectives, it becomes challenging to resolve issues and maintain a healthy relationship. Number 3, trust erosion. Constant judgments or unresolved disagreements can erode trust within a relationship. Trust is a fundamental component of any social connection, and when it's compromised, the foundation of the relationship weakens. Number 4, emotional impact. Individuals may experience a range of emotions, including frustration, anger, sadness, or anxiety, as a result of judgments or misunderstandings. These emotional responses can take a toll on mental well-being and contribute to a negative atmosphere within the relationship. Isolation and withdrawal. In response to judgments or ongoing disagreements, individuals may choose to isolate themselves or withdraw from the relationship. This self-protective mechanism can further contribute to a sense of distance and detachment. Number 6, reduce collaboration. In social or professional settings, disagreements can hinder collaboration and teamwork. When individuals are unable to find common ground, working together becomes challenging, impacting collective goals and outcomes. Number 7, impact on self-esteem. Continuous judgments or misunderstandings can negatively affect self-esteem. Individuals may internalize negative perceptions, leading to a diminished sense of self-worth and competence. Number 8, long-term resentment. Unresolved conflicts and ongoing disagreements can result in long-term resentment. If issues are not addressed and resolved, they may linger beneath the surface, influencing future interactions and relationships. Reputational damage. In social or professional circles, judgments and misunderstandings can lead to reputational damage. People may form opinions based on these perceptions, affecting how an individual is perceived within a broader community. Number 10, opportunity for growth. On a more positive note, disagreements and misunderstandings can also provide an opportunity for growth. When approached constructively, these challenges can lead to increased self-awareness, improved communication skills, and a deeper understanding of others. Managing judgments, disagreements, and misunderstandings requires effective communication, empathy, and a willingness to find common ground. Resolving conflicts in a healthy manner can strengthen relationships, fostering mutual understanding and trust.
And so you can see here, as ChatGPT has stated, all of the negative effects that disagreements and misunderstandings and how they can affect a social relationship on things. But at the end, number 10, the opportunity for growth, how it showcases that disagreements and misunderstandings can also provide opportunities for growth. And so either you know, allow yourself or out of your control the other side of the social relationship in the misunderstanding. Maybe they choose to just continue that misunderstanding, which again is kind of a no mission. You're basically saying, nope, I'm done here. But maybe for a reason. Like, again, it's a whole spectrum. Maybe there was a reason that they are now establishing a boundary. But if it is just a misunderstanding, then I don't know how to put this. If it's just a misunderstanding, then attempt pairability. I guess it's just my suggestion. I don't really have a solution currently, except to attempt pairability, to just like to try, or else you will reach communication breakdown or some other point, or you will end up in basically alienating each other, and then you won't even want to talk to each other ever again. And you see that happen in relationships and social relationships and everything. Um, and so there's always that opportunity for growth. But again, with all that being said, the paradox and contradiction of all of that, there are some events that are just very, very difficult to return back to normalcy or to fix, but could be in a different way through time.
Postmodernism into new modernism into post-new modernism into ubermodernism into post-ubermodernism into forever funk into post-forever funk. It seems like you are playfully creating terms to describe different stages or trends in cultural or intellectual movements. While postmodernism is a recognized term in philosophy, art, and culture, the subsequent terms like new modernism, post-new modernism, ubermodernism, and post-ubermodernism, forever funk, and post-forever funk appear to be imaginative extensions. If we were to interpret these terms, number one, oh, where'd I go? Hold on, I got you. I'm reading this from my computer,
Me too.
and it was skipped ahead.
No worries. It happens. Computers be computers and humans be humans, you know?
Here we go. New modernism could suggest a new phase beyond postmodernism, possibly emphasizing a shift or evolution in cultural and intellectual paradigms. Post-new modernism might imply a reflection on or critique of the new modernist era, indicating a subsequent development of response. Ubermodernism could suggest an extreme or intensified form of modernism, emphasizing innovation, progress, or a break from past conventions. Post-Ubermodernism. Similar to post-New Modernism, this term can signify a phase after the era of Ubermodernism, suggesting a cycle of cultural evolution. Forever funk sounds more like a playful term, perhaps indicating a timeless or enduring cultural style, with funk possibly referring to a lively and unconventional approach. Post-forever funk, continuing the playful language. This term might represent a phase after the forever funk era, implying another shift in cultural trends. It's important to note that these terms are not recognized academic or cultural movements, but rather creative expressions. The use of such terms can be a fun way to explore fictional or speculative ideas about the evolution of culture and intellectual trends.
And so right now we're in the postmodern era. And to my knowledge, I believe we've been there for quite a while. The mid 20th century to the present. Years. So the mid 1960s until now. And so what comes after the postmodern era? Let's Google that. What comes after? Oh, there it was right there. Just what come? Meta modernism is what is saying to come up as a response to as a synthesis of modern and postmodern ideas, where I described it as new modernism, which would just be a different type of modernism. But I'm going to open that and look at that later.
And then there is a quote I'm about to read. I will not be able to pronounce the name. One must learn to love. This is our experience in music. We must first learn in general to hear fully, and to distinguish a theme or a melody. We have to isolate and limit it as a life by itself. Then we need to exercise effort and goodwill in order to endure it in spite of its strangeness. We need patience towards its aspect and expression and indulgence towards what is odd in it. In the end, there comes a moment when we are accustomed to it, when we expect it, when it dawns upon us that we should miss it if it were lacking. And then it goes on to exercise its spell and charm more and more, and does not cease until we have become its humble and enraptured lovers, who want it and want it again, and ask for nothing better from the world. It is thus with us. However, not only in music, it is precisely thus that we have learned to love everything that we love. We are always finally recompensed for our goodwill, our patience, reasonableness, and gentleness towards what is unfamiliar, by the unfamiliar slowly throwing off its veil and presenting itself to us as a new, ineffable beauty. That is its thanks for our hospitality. He also, who loves himself, must have learned it this way. There is no other way. Love also has to be learned.
That's Nietzsche. So let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that Nietzsche quote.
This passage reflects the idea that the process of learning to love, whether in the context of music or life in general, involves a gradual and transformative journey. Let's break down the key points. Number 1, learning to hear and distinguish. The analogy with music suggests that, just as one must learn to hear and distinguish themes or melodies, the process of loving begins with an active engagement of the senses and the ability to recognize and appreciate the elements that make up that experience. Number 2, isolating and limiting. Similar to isolating a musical theme, the passage suggests the importance of focusing on and understanding individual aspects of what one is learning to love. It involves breaking down the elements and appreciate them in isolation before grasping the full picture. Number 3, exercising effort and goodwill. The journey of learning to love requires effort, goodwill, and patience. There's an acknowledgement that the unfamiliar may seem strange at first, and it takes a conscious decision to approach it with an open mind and a positive attitude. Number 4, enduring strangeness and being patient. Patience is emphasized as a virtue in the face of what may initially appear strange or unfamiliar. It's about enduring the discomfort and allowing oneself the time to become accustomed to the new and different. Number 5, transformation through familiarity. As one persists in the process, there comes a turning point where I cannot pronounce that word, breeds affection. The once unfamiliar becomes an essential part of one's experience, and the absence of it is keenly felt. Number 6, becoming humble and enraptured lovers. The culmination is described as becoming humble and enraptured lovers of the subject. This suggests a deep and enduring connection where the once unfamiliar has now become an integral and cherished part of one's life. Number 7, recompense for goodwill and patience. The passage notes that the process of learning to love is rewarded. Goodwill, patience, reasonableness, and gentleness towards the unfamiliar are reciprocated by the unfamiliar gradually revealing its beauty, expressing gratitude for the hospitality extended to it. Number 8, learning to love oneself. The analogy extends beyond external experiences to self-love. The suggestion is that even love for oneself follows a similar path. It is learned through patience, acceptance, and a gradual unveiling of one's own inner beauty. In essence, the passage beautifully captures the transformative nature of love and the importance of openness, patience, and understanding in the process of embracing the unfamiliar and making it an essential part of one's life.
And that's an interesting breakdown because all of that is essentially what I've been trying to express to you, the reader, and the viewer, and the watcher. This type of love that helps us move into the attempt of parability and the attempt of we mission. And it is not to say that if you cannot learn this love, that you are just full of hate or you misunderstanding. or anti-love, though there are some who, with intention, will have those things and experience those things, but you are not beyond love, no matter who or what you are. There, it is something that can be taught and felt. Um, but even again, with that argument, there could potentially be people who do not have that ability. Uh, Again, going back to the amygdala as example, people with tiny amygdalas or small amygdalas uh, may not have that empathy or compassion. Um, Now we can still love them to a degree and try to figure out how to help these people, uh, try to get them to a point of parability, even as much as they might hurt us to do so. It would be a fuego puerta, you know. Um, but by doing so, I propose or suggest that in that attempt, you could reprocess epigenetics in a way. Maybe that person or you may not have kids, so those genetics may not pass down. But I mean, like funk epigenetics, how we evolve our society and our future together. Um, if we learn to love each other, even the ones that who are trying to tear that love apart, then maybe that becomes less. Maybe we reach less misunderstandings because we keep lifting those weights. It's just kind of like it's like working out. And I use this example for a lot of things of just like when you're early in the early stages of anything or learning a subject or anything. Um, you're not going to be able to lift the heavy weights at first. You're not going to be able to just jump in and lift 1,000 pounds. Some of you, some people can't even lift 1,000 pounds, right? It's a difficult thing. But if you start with, maybe 5 pounds and you work that a bunch of times, and then you can move up gradually, and then you keep working out, you keep getting, maybe you find some coaching even, or you just coach yourself, um, and eventually you're able to work these things out. You're able to use them and lift more, and that fits in with love and your brain or anything. Like if you continue to practice, it becomes habit. Uh, so yeah, let's continue.
Being interested versus being interesting. The distinguish between being interested and being interesting lies in the dynamics of interpersonal communication and social interactive actions. Let's explore each concept. 1. Being interested. Characterized by curiosity. When someone is interested, it means they have a genuine curiosity about others and the world around them. They actively seek to understand, learn, and appreciate what others have to say or share. Focused on others. An interested person pays attention to others, listens actively, and shows empathy. They prioritize understanding the thoughts, feelings, and experiences of those they interact with. Strengthens relationships. Being interested fosters stronger connections between people because people feel valued and acknowledged when someone takes a genuine interest in them. Number 2, being interesting. Involves captivating others. Being interesting implies having qualities, stories, or skills that captivate or engage others. It often involves sharing one's experiences, knowledge, or unique attributes in a compelling way. Expressive and engaging. An interesting person is often dynamic, expressive, and able to convey ideas or experiences in a manner that captures the attention of others. Adds value to conversations. Being interesting can contribute to enriching conversations by bringing in diverse perspective, experiences, or insights that others find engaging. In summary, being interested is about focusing on others, showing curiosity, and building connections through genuine engagement. On the other hand, being interesting involves bringing one's own qualities, experiences, or stories to the forefront in a way that captivates and adds value to interactions. Both qualities can enhance social interactions, and a balance of both often leads to more fulfilling and meaningful relationships. May 5th, 2024. Sometimes being interested is the interesting thing.
Who'd have thought?
Compassion is not about accepting the actions of others, but about caring about the sufferings of the persons. Your statement captures a fundamental aspect of compassion. Compassion is indeed not necessarily about condoning or accepting the actions of others, but rather it revolves around caring about the sufferings and well-being of individuals. Let's break down this idea. 1. Not accepting actions. Compassion doesn't imply a passive acceptance of any and all actions. It doesn't mean turning a blind eye to behaviors that may be harmful or unethical. Instead, it acknowledges that individuals may make mistakes or engage in negative actions, but it doesn't necessarily endorse or excuse those actions. Caring about suffering. The core of compassion lies in empathy and concern for the well-being and sufferings of others. It involves recognizing and acknowledging the pain, challenges, or difficulties that someone may be experiencing. 3. Separating actions from personhood. Compassion allows for a separation between a person's actions and their inherent worth. Even if disapproving of certain behaviors, compassion recognizes the shared humanity and the capacity for growth and change. Number 4. Encouraging understanding. Compassion often involves seeking to understand the root causes and motivation behind someone's actions. This understanding can contribute to a more empathetic perspective and may inform supportive responses. Number 5, offering support. Compassion is active and may manifest in offering support, comfort, or assistance in those who are suffering. It goes beyond mere sympathy to a willingness to help alleviate pain or contribute to the well-being of others. In essence, compassion is a complex and nuanced emotional response. It involves caring deeply for the experiences and feelings of others while recognizing the need for accountability and responsibility for one's actions. This understanding of compassion aligns with the idea that empathy and kindness can coexist with a clear stance against harmful actions or behaviors.
And I think that is a great answer and response to the earlier question that I just asked and discussed of talking about misunderstanding and how do we branch those things. But I also love how it says and states that it's not about compassion is not about accepting the actions of others. So even if there's a misunderstanding, there can be some behaviors that are harmful or unethical, and this does not mean turning a blind eye to those things. It means about caring about the suffering of that person that is causing those things. The schizoanalysis, in a way, rather than the psychoanalysis. And again, if you are unfamiliar with schizo versus psychoanalysis, psychoanalysis is the study of the brain. Schizoanalysis is the study of what is making that brain to be and to do its things, the nature and the nurture of all that, and how the environment and your social environments construct that. And so, compassion is the attempt of parability as well. Passion, love, empathy, many more things.
Good and bad, left and right, happiness and sadness are all extremes that will lead to attachments and suffering. The balance is peace of mind.
I believe this is a Buddhist philosophy.
Your perspective reflects a philosophical understanding that extremes, such as good and bad, left and right, happiness and sadness, can lead to attachments and suffering. The idea of finding balance and achieving peace of mind is a common theme in various philosophical and spiritual traditions. Let's explore these key points. Number 1, extremes and attachments. The concept suggests that attaching oneself strongly to extreme categories, whether positive or negative, can lead to suffering. For example, attaching too much importance to the pursuit of happiness or the avoidance of sadness may result in dissatisfaction or disappointment when faced with the inevitable fluctuations of life. Number 2, dualistic nature. The mention of pairs like good and bad, left and right, reflects a dualistic perspective often found in philosophical discussions. Dualism involves the contrast between opposing forces or concepts. Your observation points out the potential pitfalls of becoming overly attached to one side of such dualities. Seeking balance. The emphasis on finding balance implies that a state of equilibrium or moderation is conducive to peace of mind. It suggests that avoiding extremes and cultivating a middle ground can contribute to a more stable and contented mental state. Peace of mind. Number 4, peace of mind. The ultimate goal is this perspective is peace of mind. Achieving sense of tranquility, regardless of external circumstances, becomes the focal point. This aligns with teachings from various spiritual and mindfulness traditions that emphasize inner peace as a foundation for well-being. Number 5, mindfulness and awareness. The pursuit of balance and peace of mind often involves practices like mindfulness and heightened awareness. By being present in the moment and cultivating a non-judgmental awareness of one's thoughts and emotions, individuals may navigate the complexities of life with greater resilience. In summary, your perspective underscores the potential challenge of extreme attachments and advocates for finding a balanced middle ground approach to life. By doing so, one may cultivate peace of mind, emphasizing an inner state of tranquility and acceptance in the face of life's fluctuations.
Okay, to speak a little bit more about this, and as a precursor, there is someone who can explain this way more. Someone could probably explain all of these things way better than I can. These are my attempts to do so. And so when you are extremely attached to something, so like let's give an example of like, let's say you have a dog that you had for a very long time, right? The more that you are attached to this dog, when that dog is gone, all the happiness that it brought you is going to then kind of bring you sadness. It kind of is going to lead to suffering. Now, this does not mean that we shouldn't love and care for each other. It does not mean that we shouldn't experience these things of happiness and sadness. What it is explaining to a degree, and to my understanding, is that when you, what it is suggesting is to not allow yourself to, or to be open that nothing is permanent, except funk, really, and except change and flux. Things are going to change, and so that is kind of uh, paradoxically the attachment that they tell you to seek, because if you're able to, like when someone dies or something dies, like your pet or dog, and you're able to understand uh, and reflect on all the times that you shared and everything, but also understand that this is how it's meant to be. This is what happens, and now uh, death is this transition into becoming of something else, right? And now whoever died or whatever died is now carried on within you. You are now the host of their soul in a way, because the body is no longer functioning in reality to a degree. Again, it doesn't have the life that we know it to have, but it is still breaking down as matter and energy and as bacteria and all the things that like compose a human or a dog or anything. And then those, uh, entropy back into funk in different ways as they do. Um, and so it is kind of learning how to understand that nothing is permanent and you're not promised anything except change and time. Uh, and so when you lean into an extreme of you only like good, then eventually you're going to experience bad when that good is taken away. And if you only like bad, then I guess when good happens, you're not going to like that. But if you like bad, then wouldn't that kind of be a little kink for you? I don't know. Um, but I'm sure that there's more to that, and someone can, again, like I said, explain a little bit better. But that is kind of my understanding of it, of and especially kind of leaning into something that uh, I am Ray has been posting a lot of is how to get untrapped from your own mind, or negative thoughts and things like things that you might ruminate on and stuff. And it is the way to do that is by becoming neutral to it. It's not you're not, again, you're not dismissing it. You are experiencing it. You are digesting it, and then you're just letting it be. Uh, and that is difficult for some things, and difficult, even more difficult for some people, depending on our various levels of ability to do anything, or even want to do anything, or attempt to do anything. But yeah, if you want to hear more on that, you can look up I Am Ray.
I may aim to be our leader and president, but I am not above any of you. We are each the student and the teacher. I guarantee we will learn something from each other, whether we accept it or not. Your statement reflects a humble and inclusive approach to leadership, acknowledging the mutual exchange of learning and teaching among individuals. Let's highlight the key points. Number one, leadership without elevation. You express the desire to be a leader and president, but notably, you clarify that this position doesn't place you above others. This suggests a leadership style that values equality and avoids evaluating oneself above the rest. Number two, mutual learning. The idea that each individual is both a student and a teacher implies a reciprocal relationship within the community or group. It underscores the notion that everyone has unique experiences, insights, and knowledge to share. Number three, guarantee of learning. The guarantee that learning will occur, whether accepted or not, emphasizes the inevitability of mutual growth and development. It recognizes that interactions with others inherently involve the exchange of perspectives and ideas. Number four, inclusivity. Your statement fosters an inclusive environment where everyone is regarded as a valuable contributor to the collective learning experience. This approach promotes collaboration and a sense of shared responsibility. Number five, humility and leadership. By stating that you are not above others, you convey a sense of humility and leadership. This can contribute to building trust, fostering open communication, and creating a positive and collaborative atmosphere. Number six, emphasis on interpersonal dynamics. The focus on learning from each other highlights the importance of interpersonal dynamics in any community or leadership setting. It suggests an awareness of the richness that diverse perspectives bring to the collective understanding. In summary, your approach to leadership is characterized by humility, inclusivity, and a recognition of the inherent capacity for mutual learning within a group. This mindset can contribute to the development of a positive and collaborative community where individuals feel valued and empowered.
So this was a little sneak peek into an announcement in one of the later pages. Now, y'all don't know that yet. Maybe some of you do, because I've talked about this for a few years now. It is one of my goals to run for the President of the United States. Now, whether I ever become the President of the United States or a leader in anywhere, world leader or anything, that is up to the people. That is up to the font, right? My goal is to run based off of a platform of these things, of parability, of trying to teach love and empathy to people. and then to discuss the response to that. Again, to extend this funk treatise and study of humanity and everything, kind of as a little bit of a social experiment. Uh, and again, I'm not above you. I'm not above anyone. And when I think of leadership, it is working together. It is not me being this boss, working off of the people's backs below me. It is putting in my effort of what I can do, and again, attempting parability on putting people in the places where they are able to help, and attempting that and sharing that love instead of hoarding all this wealth and greed and everything, and seeing things that we know aren't working right now. I mean, they work for the people in these positions of power, and that's why they love that. But the hierarchy system that we have right now does not work except for those people. And then you have the people who fight for this system because they think eventually they're going to be a part of it. And maybe they will. Maybe they'll luck out, and every once in a while, someone will be able to break into the system, and so everyone else will, be like, "Oh, that could be me next." But you're very more likely to be taken advantage of by any of those people. It is a system. Um, how can I put this? It's kind of like when you're hanging out with a bunch of people who sit there and hate on other people or talk about other people behind their back and everything. When you leave that environment, they're probably most likely doing the exact same thing about you. And so, why would you want to be a part of a system like that? Uh, why would you want to be a part of a system that is just going to cut you down at its first opportunity? We need to reevaluate how we are working together and who is working with us and how we're working together and how we're helping each other. Again, a platform of parability. Uh, and so we'll see whether people want that or not. Uh, Everyone that I talk to about this says they'll vote for me. Um, Conservatives and Democrats alike, uh, or Republicans, Democrats, conservative, liberals, independents, whoever. And that is the goal: is that we're all that left and right are two just wings of the same bird, right? And our bird right now isn't flying very well, and because our wings are fighting each other. And if a bird's wings, uh, aren't working together, that bird can't fly, and then that just leaves the body to fend for itself, um, and to do whatever the body's going to do as a body, as a disabled bird, essentially. And so the goal is to attempt to fix the bird, through compassion and empathy, parability, and try to at least establish a plan of something that maybe we can work on. Because even with 4 years, or even if reelected 8 years, that's not a lot of time to actually change, um, to make like permanent change and everything. It is to a degree. Like you can make these changes and everything, but like, how fast are they effective? How long do they last? What will our own government and our own people let us do, or allow us to do? And then also, again, we're fighting against an entire fascist system, and a bunch of people that we've now put in charge who have gained power and access to power and are using that power to keep that power and gain more power. And so we are just tiny little salmon swimming upstream against that power. Uh, and those bears can easily take us out. But if there's enough salmon, you know, what uh, we can overcome the bear. you know, uh, but salmon and bears can't really. Their parability is in a different way. They exist in this nature set where bears eat salmon, right? Salmon don't eat bears. It's a different system. But we as humans are not salmon and bears. That's just a metaphor. We are people who can do this right here, talk with each other, be with each other. We can teach empathy. We can we can attempt parability. We can absolutely attempt it. Maybe reaching it is again another asymptote that we may never exactly place. But if we don't attempt it, then we're only going to go away from it. It's only going to be pushed in the opposite direction. And so, which one do you really want? And so, my goal is to be someone. Uh, my platform again is to run as a leader or as president, and to use that opportunity to expand this knowledge and make it free, make it available to anyone who wants to eventually do the same or try to help further parability with anyone and everyone and anything. Um, and I would love to leave just this like platform and syllabus and construct a like how to, because like there is no like class or college like major, like there's no study of like how does one become president. I mean, like there are steps to take there, right? Like you have to be born in America. It's $1,000, I believe, to place your bid, and you have to be 35. And in 2028, I will have all of those things. Um, and so my goal, and I guess we'll talk about this later on the actual announcement and stuff, but like it is my goal to just continue expanding myself and seeing who wants to help me in that path and who wants to build this future or this present that we can leave behind for the future and look back on and learn from. Because it's not, again, it's not going to be the absolute answer. It is not going to be the thing that uh, it is going to be what it is. And then that is going to evolve. Just as we've kind of talked about over and over and over again in this treatise, that everything is still expanding and we're just building stepping stones to whoever's going to be walking this path next. And so when we're building this path together, we can, build a nice path, that's going to help, that's well lit, in this journey of this path. But there's going to be a bunch of paths. People are going to want to make their own paths and everything. And some are going to be nicer than others, subjectively, relatively. Like, but it is my goal to never stop working towards this, to continue polishing myself until I become someone that you can trust as a leader. Um, if we were stuck on an island together, or something like that, like I would hope that I would be someone that you would want to work with. Um, and again, I don't know everything. And so the goal, again, behind becoming someone in that power and influence is you then have a team of people behind you who know the things that you don't, and that they can help you understand those things. And so I would use my time, my power and influence to just be in school like forever, essentially. Whether that school is academic or not, maybe just the school of hard knocks of life. I just want to continue to learn and then share that information with people because it's powerful. But it seems that the systems in play right now love how our education is breaking down and how people, because people keeping people ignorant and keeping people uneducated keeps those systems in power. Because when you're content and complacent, or even unaware or unknowledgeable, it's a lot harder to fight back. Uh, and so that is why it is my goal to make this information accessible uh, and reachable. And again, that is just further parability. And so now you know my intentions, kind of, and another goal of mine through this. But let us continue.
4 years ago, 2019, I presented to you all an idea, one that has been presented before in many ways, that we were already at the point of future social connection and technological singularity. It just had not exactly happened yet and was expanding and influencing into the ideas and realities of these imagined existences.
I'm gonna pause real quick, but just to fall back on the president leader thing, maybe the font doesn't guide me in that direction. Maybe my purpose is to, be a leader somewhere else. Maybe it's not the presidency, but that is uh, mine. kind of goal where I'm heading. One of the goals. There are many goals.
And here we are now, only to our observation and experience, at this point, January 2024, 4 years later, experiencing programs like ChatGPT involving significantly faster, and soon all communication learning information will become hybrid. Not like it already wasn't, but to a higher degree. Your reflection on the idea you presented 4 years ago highlights the rapid evolution of technology and its impact on social connection. The notion of being at the cusp of a future characterized by technological singularity and advanced social connections has indeed seen significant developments, as evident in the evolution of programs like ChatGPT. Key points from your statement. Number one, prediction of future social connection. 4 years ago, you anticipated a future marked by advanced social connections influenced by technological advancements. This foresight aligns with the ongoing trend of increased connectivity and the integration of technology into various aspects of our lives. Technological singularity. The concept of technological singularity, where technology's evolution becomes so rapid and transformative that it surpasses human comprehension, is suggested in your statement. The advancements in programs like ChatGPT are indicative of the accelerating pace of technological development. Observation of evolution. Your acknowledgement of the evolution of programs like ChatGPT over the past 4 years highlights the rapid progress in natural language processing and artificial intelligence. These advancements contribute to the creation of more sophisticated and capable conversational AI systems. Hybrid nature of communication. The mention of all speak becoming hybrid suggests a shift towards more integrated and seamless communication between humans and technology. The idea of hybrid communication implies a fusion of natural language and technological interfaces, making interactions more fluid and interconnected. Number 5, faster evolution. Your observation that programs like ChatGPT are evolving significantly faster underscores the dynamic nature of technological progresses. The pace of innovation in AI and related fields continues to accelerate, shaping the way we interact with and perceive technology. Number 6, continuous influence on ideas and realities. The acknowledgement that these technological advances influence ideas and shape realities emphasizes the ongoing impact of evolving technologies on our collective understanding and experiences. In essence, your reflection highlights a transformative journey from anticipating future possibilities to witnessing the actualization of those ideas in the form of advanced conversational AI. The evolving landscape of technology continues to reshape the way we connect, communicate, and navigate the complexities of our increasingly interconnected world.
And again, I said that in January 2024, and now AI is basically unavoidable in almost everything that we do, and it is influencing us at a even higher pace. And the effects that that is going to have on our society is grand. Uh, and I don't know if that's a good grand or a bad grand. We don't know yet, because the way that it's being used can absolutely be used to take advantage of all of us and everything. Um, and so, what will we do about that? And if there is like a good way to come about this, and there is also a bad way, and there's the whole wide spectrum of all of it, the between and beyond. But I now predict at this point, just as it kind of says here and stuff, and how soon communication, learning, and information will become this hybrid thing. We're in it. We're experiencing it right now. Um, Here in the treatise at this moment, you are reading an AI ChatGPT sharing these ideas that it has collected together from what it's been taught to do, and they're very well said. Uh, just based off of these little bitty selections of information that I'm giving it, and what it's giving out. And that was last year. And then in the TLDR series, as we analyze and summarize this entire treatise, the way it puts things into words of like of how it explains things a little bit better than I am says something, you know? No matter how smart we are and everything, computers are they can think at a different level. You know, they can connect at a different level, and so I think that we're going to evolve to become this hybrid thing together. Now, again, that hybrid thing can be used against us or it can be used for us, and I think we're in that battle right now. And so we'll see the outcome of that. My goal is to have us go into the good side of that, where it basically is used to help us move forward, and to help us reach more parability, greater parability, how to work together using technology. Because we've used technology for a very long time, but now technology is able to communicate back with us. And it's going to get better and better at doing that.
As humans, we can rapidly evolve through thought, imagination, and the strengthening of as a conscious species with higher internal dialogue. Your statement emphasizes the unique cognitive abilities of humans, highlighting thought, imagination, and the strengthening of internal dialogue as catalysts for rapid evolution. Let's delve into the key points. Number one, rapid evolution through thought. The power of thought is central to your assertion. Human cognition allows for the generation of ideas, problem solving, and conceptualization. The ability to think critically and creatively contributes to adaptability and intellectual growth. Number two, imagination as a driver of evolution. Imagination is a key facet of human creativity. The capacity to envision possibilities beyond immediate reality fuels innovation and drives progress. Imagination serves as precursors to the creation of novel concepts and solutions. Number three, strengthening internal dialogue. The strengthening of internal dialogue suggests an emphasis on self awareness, reflection, and the continuous development of one's thought process. Engaging in a constructive internal dialogue can lead to enhanced understanding, learning, and personal growth. Number four, conscious species. The acknowledgement of humans as a conscious species distinguishes us from other forms of life. Consciousness involves self awareness, introspection, and the ability to contemplate our own existence. This consciousness is a fundamental aspect of our capacity for evolution. Number five, higher internal dialogue. The mention of a higher internal dialogue suggests an elevated or refined form of introspection and self reflection. This may involve deep contemplation, ethical considerations, and a heightened awareness of one's thoughts and actions. Six, adaptability and learning. The emphasis on rapid evolution implies a dynamic and adaptive process. Humans, through their cognitive abilities, can learn, unlearn, and relearn, allowing for quick adjustments to change circumstances and environments. Number seven, collective evolution of humanity. While the statement refers to individuals, the collective evolution of humanity is implicit. And individuals evolve through thought and imagination. The cumulative effect contributes to the cultural, technological, and social advancements of the entire species. In summary, your perspective underscores the transformative potential inherent in human cognition, creativity, and self-awareness. The ability to engage in thoughtful and imaginative processes, coupled with a strengthened internal dialogue, serves as a driving force for the rapid evolution of individuals and, by extension, the collective evolution of a human species.
We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, about the internal dialogue being kind of the way funk communicates with us and how we communicate with ourselves, because we can think. We can think and we can think about those thoughts, and we can discuss those thoughts, and then we can think about those, kind of just like Robert was saying in his thoughts on the treatise. And then we can read books and talk about those books, and then I can't remember the exact quote he said, but you can go back and watch it. But because we can do these things, we are able to evolve at a much faster rate than all of evolution before us. Like, it took millions and billions of years for like something probably to learn how to fly, you know, um, to adapt to that ability, or how just how animals have instinct, right? Like, there's all this instinct that was formed over and over and over time, and instinct is a form of thought in a way, of subconscious thought, of the body thinking for the mind. But now the mind is able to think for the body as well, and that's fascinating. Um, and so, with that knowledge, how do we choose to evolve? And so we can either uh, choose to continue to evolve, and we can discuss which direction to go. Again, my direction that I hope we push towards is parability, but then there's people who don't want anything. They enjoy the comfort of not having to make a choice, a decision, because freedom is anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. When you are given ultimate freedom of making a choice, most people have trouble making a choice because now they're like, oh, I have to make a choice. I have this power. I have to do something, and then that something is going to have effect on the future. Yes, and that can shut someone down. You get the dizziness and anxiety when you're actually free, and some people don't like being free. Um, and so there's a spectrum of wants and needs, and wants versus needs, on choosing how will we evolve, why we will evolve, what we will evolve, where we will evolve, and the others that I didn't say, and the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Uh, but yeah, I think I've spoken my point there to a degree.
So even if you or I are president or not, your influence does and does not validate or invalidate our positions socially. Yet they are and were, by the government itself and beyond, officiating its own officials in between and outside laws of its own making to validate or invalidate your positions of influence. Your statement touches on the complex dynamics of influence, validation, and the interplay between social and governmental systems. Let's break down the key points. Number one, influence beyond validation. You suggest that influence exists independently of validation and or invalidation. This implies that the impact one has on society or a community is not solely determined by official validation, and influence can extend beyond formal recognition. Number two, social and governmental validation. There's a distinction made between social validation and validation by the government. While societal acknowledgement may hold significance, your statement acknowledges that governmental validation, such as holding a position like the presidency, is a formal recognition within established legal and political framework. Number three, government's role in officiating officials. The mention of the government officiating its own officials refers to the institutional process through which individuals are recognized and appointed to positions of authority. This recognition involves adherence to laws and regulations governing the appointment and validation of officials.
I'm gonna pause here rather than the whole thing, because what I mean by officials officiating their own officials, or governments doing that, is just like how when we look at the police state now, um, how police, especially in this era of fascism, and control are basically they can do whatever the hell they want, uh, and basically face very little repercussions. And if they do face repercussions, uh, they pay out with taxpayers' money, and so it's our money that we're paying them for them to kill on command, basically, and to execute others or to do whatever corrupt things that they do. And then when we call them out for it and try to make them change or anything, basically they're like, okay, we'll put someone on that. We'll have them investigate it, and it's usually just themselves investigating themselves. Uh, and you can see how that is problematic. And if you can't, then you're probably one of the people who thinks that they can get in on this and they want to be in that level of side of power. Or they just don't understand uh, this interplay of dynamics that's going, power dynamics that's happening. But our government does the same thing. And so, doesn't that speak loads to you, or to do? How do you even feel about that? Like, how is it that this these governments, not just ours, but a lot of them, basically like make these decisions, and then they're like, nope, this is how it is forever, and we're just going to keep changing the rules in our favor to where you can't fight back. That is problematic in any scenario. Uh, I understand building a strong fortress, uh, but even those need to be updated. Like they still need to be upkept. Even buildings don't last forever. Uh, Even governments don't last forever. And so, just like I kind of talk about with religion and other things and ideas and stuff, if you're not open to being evolved and you just shut everything out and be like, this is the way it is, and anyone who says otherwise will be punished, essentially, like, is that a healthy system? That's not parability. Uh, that is taking advantage of others, of taking advantage of power. And power does weird things to people. Uh, and so, even if I am put in this position of power, my goal is to be as accountable as possible. I would love to build a system where I'm much more involved with the people than our positions of power have now. Now, the problem with that is a level of national security, right? But if we can build a system to where we're not having to fight each other all across the world, and we're actually reaching parability with not just our own country but other countries, and now we can work together, of us versus the universe in a way, or not even versus, like us as we transit the universe, kind of in a way of like, I know it's fiction and fantasy, but Star Trek. Uh, I think we're going to get to the point where it's time to expand from just Earth and see what's out there when we are able to do that, because right now it is very difficult to do that. The human body is not kind of designed to live in space, and there's radiation and radioactivity, and how no gravity affects our bodies and bones and everything. But with time and, you know, more stepping stones to these moments, we might figure it out. We might figure out teleportation, and that might not even be an issue. Like, we might be able to just jump from here to there, and then we won't even have to deal with space. It'll be a completely different thing. Um, and I think that these ideas that I'm presenting to you now are kind of going to lead to that, because it's breaking down how to understand Caravagna, and then how to understand the spines of everything and anything. Um, but then there's the physics of it, that we might not be able to do it physically, but we can never say never, uh, because I'm sure there's people out there right now working on it, doing something about it. Um, and I lost my train of thought, but I think I said everything that I need to kind of say there. Um, and so, even if I or you are president, our influence does and does not invalidate or validate our position socially. It doesn't matter who or what we are. Yet these things are built by someone, put into place by someone or something who makes us build these hierarchies and set each other above or below each other. Uh, why? You know? And there is absolutely the option to change. It is 100% an option. It just depends on how much you are willing to step through the fuego puerta to change, to attempt parability. And that's going to be uncomfortable for some. But that is where the people who are able to be there for those people who are uncomfortable step in and continue parability and approaching that. Um, and it's not a forced thing. Like, we're not going to, if you're opposed to this, it is not parability to step in and be like, well, that's too bad because this is how it is now. That's not parability. It is the continued suggestion of, when you are ready, we are here to move forward with you. But we're also going to continue moving forward without you if you're not ready yet. But our we will still be connected. And so if you ever reach out and you're ready to work with us, we're ready to work with you. That is parability.
Number 4, the influence within and outside laws. The acknowledgement that influence operates both within and outside the laws of the government suggests a nuanced understanding of the sources and mechanisms of influence. Influence can manifest through legal channels, but it may also extend beyond formal regulations. Number 5, dynamic nature of social positions. The statement recognizes the dynamic nature of social positions and influence. The impact one has on society can be multifaceted and is shaped by various factors, including public perception, actions, and contributions. Number 6, reflection on validity and invalidity. Your statement prompts reflection on the subjective nature of validity and invalidity. The validation or invalidation of positions may involve a complex interplay of factors, including legal, societal, and ethical considerations. In summary, your statement highlights the intricate relationship between influences, social validation, and government recognition. It acknowledges that while formal positions within the government may come with official validation, influence itself can operate in diverse ways, extending beyond formal structures and involving complex interactions within society. Rather than hate the relationship between any pair or more, or even individual, treat it with love, and the rewards will be loving as the greater of the opposites, unless absolutely overpowered by hate, which it can and cannot be as forms. Your perspective emphasizes the transformative power of love in relationships, suggesting that approaching interactions with love can yield positive rewards. Let's explore the key points in your statement. Number 1, prefer love over hate. The central theme is a preference for love over hate in relationships. This implies that choosing love as a guiding principle can lead to more positive outcomes, fostering understanding, compassion, and harmony. Number 2, transformation through love. Your statement suggests that love has the capacity to transform relationships. By treating interactions with love, there's an expectation that the nature of the relationship can evolve positively, creating a more nurturing and supportive dynamic. Number 3, rewards of love. The phrase, the rewards will be loving, implies that the outcomes or consequences of choosing love are themselves expressions of love. This can include mutual respect, trust, and deeper connection between individuals. Number 4, greater than opposites. Love is portrayed as the greater force when compared to its opposite, hate. The idea is that the positive effects of love can overshadow and outweigh the negative impacts of hatred, contributing to a more harmonious and fulfilling relationship. Number 5, potential for overpowering hate. While love is presented as a powerful force, there's acknowledgement that it may or may not be able to overpower hate completely. This recognizes the complexity of emotions and interpersonal dynamics, acknowledging that some situations may pose greater challenges. Forms of hate. Number 6, forms of hate. The reference to hate having forms suggests that hatred can manifest in various ways and intensities. It recognizes the diversity and complexity of negative emotions within relationships. In summary, your perspective advocates for approaching relationships with a mindset of love, highlighting the potential for positive transformation and rewarding outcomes. While acknowledging the challenges presented by hate, your emphasis on the power of love suggests an optimistic view of the potential for love to shape and enrich interpersonal connections.
And again, I'm going to go back and read one of those previous thoughts because it's, again, here. Compassion is not about accepting the actions of others, but about caring about the sufferings of the person. Uh, and what was the other thing that it said? Um, it doesn't mean Compassion doesn't imply a passive acceptance of any and all actions. It doesn't mean turning a blind eye to behaviors that may be harmful or unethical. Instead, it acknowledges that individuals may make mistakes or engage in negative actions, but it doesn't necessarily endorse or excuse those actions. Uh, and so, there is going to be strong hate out there. Um, that's and we you shouldn't turn a blind eye to it. Uh, you got to treat it with a form of parability until eventually they can see the light. Maybe. But if you give up and everyone else gives up on that person or that thing or event, then they will continue to grow like a cancer. The cancer will just continue to grow. And so, how do you treat cancer, right? I mean, we don't really have an exact cure yet, but there's options out there and stuff. There are ways to do it. Uh, and so that, like, if you have cancer, are you just going to sit there and do nothing about it and let the cancer overcome you? Or are you going to do something about it? And it depends on how far deep you are. Like, if the cancer's spread so much to where it's going to kill you, then what do you do? What do you do about it? And that's just the metaphor. And so the cancer right now is how we treat each other, our social connections, how powerful hate is, and everything. Um, how our governments treat us and our people, how divided we are, and how it's kind of designed to be that. And so, how do we reach repairability? And this next one kind of extends on that.
Renegotiate everything. Even if we are never able to execute the greatest resulting solution, someone or something will as a result of eventuality. Your statement underscores the importance.
And so that renegotiate everything. Everything that we have right now can be renegotiated. It is changeable. We can change it all together with each other. And even if you and I, are never able to execute that greatest resulting solution, someone or something will, as a result of eventuality, as a result of time and everything. And it just depends on how far we go in teaching compassion and parability, or we just continue to let the cancer win. Because cancer is deadly and it spreads. And there's other forms of cancer. Again, I'm using cancer as a metaphor. And I am assuming that you understand what I mean. And if you don't, feel free to reach out, leave a comment, or reach out to someone or something that you do think. But if you kind of disagree with this information, uh, of the things that I'm saying, then allegedly you are someone who needs more love. You are someone who needs more compassion. Maybe ask yourself, do I have these things? And this is not an attack towards you. If you disagree with this love and optimism and everything, like, maybe you're just not ready yet. Maybe you never will be. But I encourage you to be open to it again, and on the other side too, the people who are within this love, to be able to help. Uh, and so, if you feel yourself not resonating with these things, I don't know, because again, I'm not trying to make this the thing. This is not being forced upon you. Um, but I do see the power in it and the attempt of change and to renegotiate things. And so here we are renegotiate everything.
of continuous reevaluation and renegotiation, suggesting that ongoing assessment and adaptation can lead to optimal solutions over time. Here are key points from your perspective. Number one, emphasis on renegotiation. The call to renegotiate everything implies a proactive and dynamic approach to various aspects of life and encourages a mindset of continuous evaluation and adjustment rather than settling for the status quo. Number two, continuous assessment. The idea of renegotiation suggests a commitment to continuously assess and reevaluate different aspects, whether they be relationships, agreements, or strategies. This ongoing process reflects an openness to change and improvement. Number three, optimizing solutions. The expectation is that through this process of constant renegotiation, there is potential for discovering and implementing the best possible solutions. It acknowledges that the optimal outcome may not be immediately apparent, but can evolve over time through interactive improvements. Number four, eventual excursion of solutions. The acknowledgement that someone or something may eventually execute the greatest resulting solution highlights the collaborative and cumulative nature of progress. The continuous renegotiation may contribute to a collective pool of ideas and actions that lead to significant outcomes. Number four, adaptability to eventuality. The mention of eventuality suggests a recognition of the unpredictable nature of life. Being adaptable and open to change allows for responses to unforeseen events or developments. Number six, dynamic problem solving. The emphasis on renegotiation aligns with a dynamic problem solving approach. It suggests a willingness to address challenges as they arise, adapting strategies and solutions based on evolving circumstances. In summary, your perspective encourages an active and adaptive approach to life, promoting continuous renegotiation as a means to optimize solutions and navigate the uncertainties of the future. The recognition of eventual execution by someone or something underscores the collaborative and interconnected nature of problem solving and progress.
And so I kind of what I meant there on if you feel that you might be this person, or if you find yourself being someone who's like, nope, I am set in my ways. I don't have to change for you. I don't have to change for everyone. Uh, what I suggest to you is attempt adaptability, attempt pairability. See how it works out. Uh, Now, with that said, um, with your state of mind, it may not work out well because it's going to clash with some that don't know how to be parable. Um, but if you continue to work and share and overcome your own negativity and no missions, then again, as we talked about earlier, you can learn how to perhaps uh, you strengthen these muscles on how to even attempt to change, to even attempt adaptability. Um, but again, it is all your personal choice. You do what you want to do. You be who you are. I still love you. I still love you the same. Um, but I can love you in a different way. Because if you're someone who is hateful and hurtful and harmful, then I don't want to be near you. I can still love you as a being and thing that exists. Um, but again, there are going to be boundaries. Uh, I'm not going to want to work with you. Uh, I will try. I will attempt. You know, but usually people in those areas are the ones who will take advantage of me or anyone else. And so if you're a repeat offender, then how do we keep working together? Um, am I the problem or are you the problem? Are we the problem or are you the problem? And then eventually, as the beast is forming, as the cancer is growing, you're going to find more cancer, and you're going to relate with those cancers, and that's how we get like fascism and Nazis and shit. So just be careful. Always be open to questioning yourself and learning more. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to be all right as well.
We have to be responsible with how many children creations we have and what we ourselves can care for. Your statement highlights the importance of responsible family planning and recognizing one's capacity to care for children. Here are key points from your perspective. Number one, responsibility in family planning. The emphasis on being responsible suggests a consideration for the impact of family planning decisions on both individuals and society. Responsible family planning involves thoughtful and informed choices regarding the number of children. Number two, acknowledging personal capacity. Recognizing what one can care for underscores the importance of understanding individual, familiar, and societal circumstances. This involves taking into account factors such as financial stability, emotional well-being, and the ability to provide for the needs of children. Number three, quality of care. The statement implies that responsible family planning goes beyond quantity to consider the quality of care that can be provided. Ensuring that children receive adequate support, attention, and resources is a crucial aspect of responsible parenting. Number four, consideration for resources. Responsible family planning involves a realistic assessment of available resources, including time, energy, and financial means. Balancing these resources with the needs of a growing family contributes to a more sustainable and fulfilling parenting experience. Number five, impact on society. Responsible family planning has broader implications for societal well being. It contributes to a more balanced population growth, which can positively impact education, healthcare, and overall social and economic development. Number six, global perspective. The responsibility extends beyond individual choices to a global perspective on population growth and its environmental and societal consequences. Sustainability family planning practices contribute to a more balanced and environmentally conscious world. In summary, your statement underscores the ethical consideration and foresight required in family planning decisions. Being responsible in this context involves not only the recognition of personal limitations, but also a broader awareness of the collective impact on society and the environment.
Now, ChatGPT read this more with being responsible for like family and children and everything, which in a way, am kind of leaning in that. But I also mean like the things that you create beyond children. Like, I mean, like your ideas are children to a degree, or the things that you create, the soul outside of you, your outer self, your children, right? Your creations. We have to be responsible for those creations and what we ourselves can also care for once we've made these things. And especially if it's something that is living and breathing, right? And it thinks for itself, and it suffers and it has joy. It's a human, right? If you can't really take care of yourself, just like improv, just like on stage, or in life outside of improv, uh, if you are unable to take care of the self first, then the selfless around you will likely suffer because it's, uh, especially if it's your job to take care of it. Now, a good selflessness within parability would be able to help regardless. It would be the village taking care of the selfish and the children of the selfish. And again, I don't mean selfish like I'm hoarding things, just the natural selfishness that we have of survival, of taking care of ourselves, of just natural things that we each selfishly need. I don't mean greed. I mean actual selfishness, which has importance. But then now I've distracted myself. But again, I think breaching back, pairability would be all of that being able to take care of each other, no matter what. And so the self would be able to um, give more and take care of more with the help of the surroundings of the those being the pairability. But if you're in the situation where the surrounding doesn't help you, kind of like how our government treats uh, people right now, um, when you're put in these situations where, like, let's say you can't afford to have 3 kids, but you have 4 kids or 5 kids now, um, that could suffer. Those kids could suffer because you not only are you suffering by having to take care of all these things that now burden you to a degree, but it also puts impact on society. And they're not going to be able to help you in the way that a full society of pairability would. But that is the goal: is to hopefully reach a society that is able to help out. But even if we were in a ultimate like world of we're given everything, all of our needs are taken care of, we would still have to be careful with how many children or creations that we have. There would still be limits because we are still limited with resources as well. But who's to say that eventually we aren't able to replicate resources? And again, that's just fantasy, but because we have the idea, I'm sure someone's out there attempting to do it and bring us closer to there. And so that's what I kind of mean about that, not about like telling you how to be a parent and everything. Because a lot of parents don't like being told how to be a parent. Uh, and you can see it on almost anything. Like, don't tell me how to be a mom or a dad. You don't tell me how to parent my child. So many parents get upset on that when people offer suggestions of how to raise a child. Um, and I think that also says something, and that expresses the you need to be open to even hearing suggestion, whether you might be doing right or wrong, even if you're doing completely right, and someone's like, "Oh, well, you could do this a little bit better," and that can be annoying and upsetting. But again, take it with uh, the neutrality of because you're leaning one side to the extreme, and so you're suffering when that extreme is challenged. And so you got to reach the neutrality of, and again, not dismiss it. You're not saying I don't have to listen to you or anything. It is taking it in, digesting it, and letting it be. And you'd be like, maybe there is some merit to that. And if not, be like, oh, then I know personally that what you just said makes no sense because I'm already doing what you're suggesting. You just don't have the greater picture of this whole experience and scenario. And there are ways to respond to that that are healthy, and there's ways to respond to that that are, uh, what is it, confrontational. And there's a spectrum of everything, and there's what is right, what is wrong. Again, but my suggestion is parability. All right, and I believe this is going to be the end right here.
Depending on the subject, occasionally when it is my turn, I aim to make most of that moment. May 5th, 2024. Though execution doesn't always equal intention.
What I mean by that is depending on what's happening, when it is my turn, or you can even say our turn or anything, uh, I aim to make the most of that moment. And I'm sure you can relate to that. Uh, like, what's an example? Like when you're playing a game and it gets to you and now it's your turn to do your thing. You want to make the most of that turn because, oh man, now it's my turn. I want to roll. Let's say you have to roll dice and you need a 12. You want to roll that 12, right? You want to make the most of your turn. You don't want to roll a 1 and then you're like, oh man, like all I moved is this little space. Um, or if it's like if it's your turn to like trying to think of a good scenario in this, like maybe when it's your turn to lead or something like that, or it's your turn to share in the show and tell, or it's your turn to teach or do something. Um, Aim to make the most of that moment and whatever that means to you. You know, like uh, because if you can just absolutely coast through it, you know, you can be uh, or you can do the least amount of work possible and still make it through, or you can fail. You know, there's all of that. But if you aim to make the most of it, then you're probably going to enjoy yourself a little bit more, unless you're attached to winning and not losing and stuff. Then when you even no matter what, if you aim to make the most, you're probably not going to be satisfied with your results. Um, and then further into that thought, execution doesn't always equal intention. So while you may intend to make the most of your moment, that always doesn't it doesn't always work out in your favor. It's not always what you want. Again, uh, you might roll that 1 or 2 rather than getting an 11 or 12. You know, but excuse me. Even in that, you still have made a stepping stone into this thing. You still learn for that moment. But if you get upset and you flip the board game, you know, because you rolled a 1 or 2, that is the negative selfish that we're kind of discussing here. The positive selfish would be understanding that it didn't come my way, but you know that's okay. Uh, Maybe someone else will win, and maybe that is needed for them more than me in this moment. What am I learning here by that?
Your statement reflects an intentional and proactive approach to engaging conversations or discussions. Let's explore the key points. Number 1, subject dependent engagement. The phrase depending on the subject suggests that your level of engagement may vary based on the topic being discussed. This recognition underscores the idea that certain subjects may inspire more active participation or passion on your part. Number 2, taking advantage of your turn. The emphasis on when it is my turn indicates a sense of timing and the understanding that conversations often involve taking turns to speak. It suggests that you are attentive and strategic in making the most of your opportunities to contribute to the discussion. Number 3, aiming for impact. The intention to make the most of that moment suggests a desire to have a meaningful impact during your turn to speak. This could involve expressing your thoughts clearly, sharing valuable insights, or contributing to the overall flow and direction of the conversation. Number 4, proactive engagement. Your statement implies a proactive stance in conversations. Rather than being passive, you aim to actively contribute and shape the dialogue, especially when the opportunity presents itself. Number 5, subject-driven passion. The variation in engagement based on the subject hints at the role of personal interest and passion in driving your level of involvement. Suggests that resonate with you may evoke a more enthusiastic and articulate response. So that was the end of page 130, but I will go ahead and continue to read number 6.
Thank you.
Number 6, strategic communication. The choice of words such as aim and make the most suggests a strategic approach to communication. This implies that you consider your contributions purposefully with the goal of maximizing the impact of your statements. In summary, your statement reflects a dynamic and strategic approach in participating in conversations. It acknowledges the influence of subject matter on the level of engagement and emphasizes the importance of actively contributing when the opportunities arise. May 5th, 2024, ChatGPT interpreted this as for conversation, but really applies to any scenario, a la Carpe Diem.
Seize the day.
Okay, so
Aim
my
to make the
thoughts.
most of your moment. Okay, but yes, now we are going into the thoughts. And so let us hear what Veronica has to say about those 10 pages.
I am going to go back up to page 122.
I'll join you.
In the quote that was given, one must learn to love. I do agree with. When we're born as infants, we are love. We're unconditional love. We know nothing else until we learn to start judging, start hating, start judging ourselves and our outside world. And we forget what it's like to be unconditionally loving. So I do agree with that love has to be relearned, because we're born already knowing how to love. We just forget how to do it, and we have to relearn it as we get older.
We have to relearn it every day,
Page 124.
every moment. We are challenged by the opposites. Parability is facing those challenges.
Compassion is not about accepting the actions of others, but about caring about the sufferings of the persons. I've been a pretty spiritual person and philosophical person for the past 8 years. I've been on my own spiritual growth and learning so much. And what I like about this statement, compassion is not about accepting the actions of others, but about caring about the sufferings of the person. It places you in their shoes. So something, I'm a general manager. I've been in management for many years. So something that I do when I have to have tough conversations with people, I'm always very calm. I usually end up cracking a joke just to make light of the situation. If I have to correct somebody, even in the moment, sometimes I will get that defensive backlash, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I have learned that their reaction is based off of what they were learned. It's a learned behavior. I no longer become reactive to their reactions, because I'm learning to bring compassion into the situation. Everybody's judgments, everybody's negative and even positive thought processes and interactions and reactions, they're all learned behaviors. Sometimes people just don't know any better.
And so, just as Veronica stated, just like I kind of stated with the parent thing, when you correct someone, even whether you're right or wrong, but when you're, especially if you're in a position of leadership or power, and you have to talk to someone that's below you, it is very, very common for them to just roll their eyes and be like, "Who are you to tell me these things? You're just someone who was put in power by time and place and happenstance. Um, I don't need to hear what you're saying." But then there's also the people who take that to heart. They're like, "Okay, I also have the compassion that you are in this situation. You're having to tell me about a mistake that I made, and you either hold yourself accountable or you are the inverse of just like, nope, I was right, you're wrong, or this whole spectrum of all of that." And so parability is being able to sit in those moments as each other and attempt to reach um, the next synthesis.
125. Okay, so this page talks a lot about peace of mind. What I have found that works best for me as far as being in a more peaceful mindset is I judge less when it comes to my outside appearances, whatever's going on outside of me, whether it's a situation or it's a person, and I judge what's going on the inside. So I judge the thoughts that I'm having. I've learned to challenge my thoughts with a series of questions. And I get to a point where I decide that, wait, that's not true.
That's parability.
We're supposed to judge. That's what we're here for. The sky is blue, the grass is green. But we can choose which judgments are true for us. We can choose which judgments are true for other people. Let's see. Page 125.
And it's when you do kind of the opposite of this, of what Veronica just described, when you are so focused on the outer self of, oh my gosh, I'm being judged in this way, I'm being judged in that way, that person's doing these things or saying those things, uh, that the what I am Ray would call the monster mind takes over, and you become lost in your own self, because you fear judgments that are just alleged, or assumptions. You are probably projecting those thoughts and realities out into being, and so they're becoming real for you because you're projecting this reality. You're manifesting it to be. And I know a lot of people will think of that as like spiritual hoo ha, but there's a lot of reality in that. And the best way to, uh, or the suggestingly best way so far that we know, is to, as Veronica said, look internally on why am I having this feeling? Why am I judging this reality in this way negatively back at me? Now, there are the events and the occasions that it is true, right? But you don't know that unless you communicate it uh, effectively. Because even that communication, if you go out in a rash way, then it's probably going to negatively affect you even more and just cause you to deepen that spiral. And so it is how you handle these situations and everything. Excuse me. That is also extremely important. And that is why parability is extremely important, and learning how to do it, how to strengthen this love and understanding and compassion and empathy and beyond.
I may aim to be our leader and president, but I am not above any of you. We are each the student and the teacher. I guarantee we will learn something from each other, whether we accept it or not. I 100% agree with this. I believe everybody is our teacher, whether they have a good influence on us or a bad influence on us. If we have a negative interaction with them, they are teaching us something about ourselves, not necessarily about them. They're teaching something about ourselves, how to go within, how to judge ourselves. But what I also like about it is some of the best leaders that I've ever had in my life, they were learning right alongside me. I never felt like they were my boss. I felt like they were on my team. They were just leading the team. And that's how I lead my team. I don't like calling myself the manager. I don't like calling myself the boss. I'm just leading my team. When we have to get down and dirty and clean something, I'm right there on the front lines. I don't ever expect them to do it without me. When we have our team meetings, it's very casual. We're sitting around, we're having conversations. I'm letting them know the things that are coming up. I want their thoughts, I want their opinions on it, and I want some ideas that I might be able to throw up to corporate. I want them to feel like it's not just me standing there telling them what to do. With that mindset,
But before she continues that, imagine if the corporate did the same thing, but they mostly don't, because their mind is just on numbers, and profits and growing those numbers, and sitting down to have these conversations is a waste of their time. Um, and so take that as you will.
I've been able to maintain the staff that I have. I have a very low turnover rate. Not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I
That's an
just believe
accomplishment.
that's what a lot of people want. They want collaboration. They want somebody that they can talk to. They want somebody to learn with them. And I have a very curious mind. I'm a very curious person, and I'm always seeking to learn. I've probably read 15 self-help books this year already, whether spiritual, philosophical, or just ideas. Page
Expanding.
127.
And it's just like that. Like, just as she's saying, and just as I have said here, like, my goal is to run for president, right? But I want to build a network of how to teach others to do the same, so that there's good competition out there, so that there's someone who can probably do it even better than I can, who now has the resources and understanding of how to take those steps to get there. Because the options that we have right now aren't great. And so, what if we had each of us, literally each and every one of us, could run for this position, and we could trust each other because we've been helping each other reach these positions. We're not above each other. We are all together working for these moments. And then when those moments of leadership come, we can all trust this person to take that power, because we know that they're also going to help us be on that same level. They have a title now, you know. They might have uh, they might have to make a decision that we don't have to, but they're probably going to want to us our opinion if we're on their level as well, you know. Even though, again, a title is separate, it's not increasing your level. It's just a title of, now you have different what is the word I'm looking for? Responsibilities.
As humans, we can rapidly evolve through thought, imagination, and the strengthening of as a conscious species with higher internal dialogue. 100%. So right now, I'm currently reading a book. It's called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And one of my favorite things that she states in there over and over again is that we can't drop a thought. A thought drops us. So I see it as, I'm going to use Tinder as an example, even though I've never had a Tinder account. You're swiping through Tinder. That's kind of how your thoughts play out. They're presenting themselves to you, and you're going to decide whether you're going to swipe left or you're going to swipe right. You can throw a series of questions up to those thoughts and turn those thoughts around to where it feels better inside of you. And when it feels good, that's what's true for you. If it doesn't feel good, it's not true. This is all a simulation, guys.
Imagination.
I wish I never unlearned how to use my imagination. Now I'm relearning how to use my imagination again. Using our imagination, bringing love into situations, being non-judgmental of our outside appearances. They're all keys to involving evolution, even involving technology. I'm not the biggest fan of technology. It quite honestly pisses me off. I'm not the biggest fan of AI, but there's reasons why there's so much evolvement in all of those things, is because humans are evolving. We're evolving our minds, and we're evolving our imaginations.
Because we can think. We're conscious.
129. Page 129 talks a lot about renegotiation. And it just, it's kind of in comparison to my question every thought, throw a bunch of questions at that thought until it feels good to you. And, try new things. If something's not working, try it a different way. One of my favorite quotes is by Rita Mae Brown. And in her novel, she said, doing something over and over again just to expect a different result is the definition of insanity. Renegotiate everything. Try something new. Try something different. If it's not working, don't try that same thing again. Try something different. But also renegotiating everything. 100% agree on that. There is one part that I do not agree with, and that is 129 into 130 when it's talking about responsible family planning. And the only reason why I don't agree with it is because it is not my place or the place of anybody else to pass judgment on other people as far as their family goes, as far as how many children they have. This may be true for the person that wrote this, and that's okay. It can be true for you. But passing judgment on other people because they weren't responsible or not as responsible as you feel they should have been, it's not your place to tell other people how to live their lives. So I don't completely agree with those statements or this, this page, but this is the truth of the writer, and that's okay. So I don't judge it, I just don't agree with it.
Again, what I mean there is not the judgment to judge negatively when someone is in this situation, but to be aware before you get put in, because these situations are going to arise against some will, um, because some women will be taken advantage of and forced to have kids and everything, which is terrible in itself. And so, yes, we can't be judgment in them. I am more leaning into with the people who willingly step into these situations and have uh, and create more than they can be responsible for. Uh, and again, it's a whole spectrum. But then what I'm additionally branching over into is again the parability. If you are put into this situation, rather than judge that person and be like, "Well, you shouldn't have had 5 kids," how can we help? How can we help that? Now that you're in that situation, as a village or a villager, what can I do about it? And if I can't help exactly, I'm sure that I can find someone who can. Or if we work together, then we can all help out. Uh, we have that power to renegotiate everything. And so that's kind of what I mean by that. Not telling you how to be a parent or how many kids you should have or judging you for doing what you're doing, um, but just raising awareness of it and how we respond to it. Maybe that is a different argument, and let me know if you agree or disagree with that.
I think I think that's it. I'm honestly kind of interested in just starting from page one and just reading this whole thing and find it pretty fascinating.
Please
All
do.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. And I hope you do read it or watch these videos all the way through and then share your thoughts. I would love to hear that. It seems that you do enjoy reading stuff in these lines of genre and everything. And so I would love to hear more of your opinion on this and how it relates to your journey. It seems that you kind of are reaching out to me now that we're reconnected through this. Um, and that extends to you, the reader, as well. Uh, Share your thoughts down below. Let's connect. Let's grow together. Let's reach parability. Uh, if you have any disagreements and everything, share them. But share them in the way that we can, uh, in a compassionate way, rather than a hateful way. But you will do what you do, and then it is my job to uh, respond to that in uh, a manner of parability, of compassion, rather than you know, two negatives just, a cat fight or getting at each other, How helpful is that really? Not very. It's a great example of showcasing what that means, and showcasing an example of things that maybe we should avoid, but some people love living in that drama. Again, it's this wide spectrum for all of us. Um, and so, hopefully, you've reached some understanding of what more I'm saying and these things. Uh, I really enjoyed hearing these words, reading back these ChatGPT things, because it is a lot of information to take into stuff. And even though I've edited this information quite a few times, to be quite honest, um, when reading these parts, since it's so much green text and everything, my ADD, my ADHD usually will kind of flip me off a little bit in these areas and these segments. Uh, And so I feel I even have a little deeper understanding of each of them. And I'm glad that it's on video now of those deeper understandings that I can look back to and reevaluate and repolish the treatise on that. So, once again, Veronica, thank you so much for reading these pages. I wish you the best of luck in your journey through spirituality and philosophy and everything. And you, the reader, watcher, and listener, thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing this journey as well. I wish you the best of luck in everything and all that you do, unless it's terrible. Then I wish you the worst of luck in that. Um, and so, again, in case I don't see you in the future, I love you. And if I don't see you again, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I don't know why I've internally switched those. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And the funk provides. And I think that's the closers for now. Again, maybe I need a better closer. I'm still not good at saying goodbyes because reasons. I don't know. All right, well, that is it. You take care and peace. See you next time.